On management of natural resources. First is, what changes would you suggest in your home in order to be environment friendly? The first is, because waste is always there, so if you are able to segregate the recyclable and non-recyclable waste, right, green and non-green waste, then it will be very good. Always use the water and electricity judiciously. Do not waste food. Take only that much of food which is required. Don't waste food. And as far as newspaper and plastic items are concerned, basically plastic items is a very big concern. Then use plastic items again and again. And because newspaper comes from ultimately trees, these papers, so you can reuse newspapers. And always use the natural light and air, so keep windows open in order to prevent use of fan. And follow 3 R's, which are reduce, recycle and reuse. Reduce, recycle and reuse. Can you suggest some changes in your school which would make it environment friendly? Yes. There are so many which you can add up with these outlined, but we'll give some of them and you can add with them also. First of all, try to grow the trees along the boundary wall. Trees give you fresh air, they give you oxygen, they in the sunlight, hot sunlight, they give you a shelter. Grow shrubs and small plants on the sides of internal roads and around the roads. Again, same thing, good greenery and good health. If you have a rooftop, try to harvest water from this rooftop in order to water these plants which you intend to grow or you have grown. Then the seminars and poster exhibitions are always the part of school, any college. So these poster and seminars should be on the awareness programs for making how to make environment good, means for living purposes. Avoid wastage of water and paper. It can be recycled for handicraft purposes, because water and paper, water, it's very important for life, and paper comes from trees that again in turn are important for life. We saw in this discussion or this topic that there are 4 main stakeholders when it comes to forest and wildlife. Which among these should have the authority to decide the management of forest produce? Whatever forest produces, who should have this authority, and why do you think so? First of all, the people who live in or around forest, they are totally dependent on this forest, because they don't have anything, they can produce everything. They are totally dependent on the products of forest for various aspects of their life. And the forest department that owns the land and controls the forest resources and their produce, there is a forest department. Then the wildlife and the nature enthusiasts, who are activists, or who you can say who want to conserve the nature, because they know the power of the nature and the importance of them, the nature in its original form as far as possible. The local people who live in and around the forest, they must have more say deciding the management of forest produce, because they are totally dependent on this, and they also help in growing them, yes, to maintain them. So they take the materials only up to their needs from the forest resources, and they always try to replenish these resources. They don't misuse them. How can you as an individual contribute to make a difference to the management of forest and wildlife, water resources, coal and petroleum? As an individual, what you can do to actually work for the preservation and improvement of these. For forest and wildlife, you can take part in community activities which focus on conserving the forest and wildlife. because awareness is important. When you know, then you will do. As a tourist, follow all principles of conservation. Just don't uh, throw waste, cut trees, and just be a conservative or an activist. You know that they are going to help you anyways. Help organization engaged in conservation of forest and wildlife in your free time. Then water resources. Always in domestic use water judiciously. You can also install system for rainwater harvesting. Then coal and petroleum. Whenever required, wherever required, save electricity. Always install electric gadget with 6 or 5-star power rating, that is, they use less power, and try to use public transport, because this usage will decrease the use of the coal and petroleum products. What can you as an individual do to reduce your consumption of various natural resources? What you can do? As I said, because we have discussed it already, you need to save electricity. Do not waste your food. Save water wherever it is possible, and use cooking gas. Don't use wood, because wood is very precious. Use cooking gas instead of wood for cooking, and always 3 R's should be in your mind: reduce, recycle, and reuse. List 5 things you have done over the last 1 week to conserve our natural resources, increase the pressure on our natural resources. So whatever you are thinking also, you can put down here, because now you know the importance of natural resources. So you can answer like this: 5 things you have done to conserve the natural resources. You have used energy efficient electrical appliances, and as much as electricity you desire or you would require, you have used. You have not wasted any electricity. And while you are brushing the teeth, anything you are doing, you have minimized the water usage, or you have closed the water tap in order to clean your teeth, and you have convinced your mother to ask her and to convince her to make food in solar cooker rather than wasting the natural resources content. And you have used the public transport. You have not used car or your Activa or scooter, parent car. Instead, you have forced them, or you have requested them that you will use public transport. And what things you have done to increase the pressure on natural resources? You went to a school on a bike instead of cycle. This is what you actually forgot to do, and you have actually pressurized the natural resources. You are not using cycle, rather you are using a bike. You forgot to switch off fan. Fan contains motor oozes out or takes out more electricity than other gadgets. Everything which has motor, it takes more electricity to run. So you forgot to switch off fan. You wasted food. You wanted 4 chapatis, you ate only 2, so you wasted food. And because of wrong printing, or not giving concentration, you printed something which has error. So you printed 50 pages without correcting them, and then you again printed 50 pages. So you used more paper than required for printing on computer. And also you wasted water resources. Maybe anything, you can say that brushing teeth, etc. On the basis of the issue raised in this particular topic, that is natural resources, conservation of natural resources, what changes would you incorporate in your lifestyle in a move towards sustainable use of our resources? Again, the same question. So there are various methods of producing. This is by mistake, so let us remove it. So what things can you write? Just ignore this. We'll move in public transport, because it conserves petrol. Instead of coal or natural gas, why not to use solar energy for cooking? And the renewable resources, we need to harness them, and will obey rationalized husbanding of renewable resources, so try to use them. And the pollution which is occurring in the environment, why not to take care to reduce the pollution, and you can work for waste management also, right? And should realize that we are living in community and we are not alone. There are flora and fauna there, and you need to take care of them, right? It's not only our life, it's not our world. This is the world carried out or being inhabited by various organisms, flora and fauna. So these were question and answer on the natural resources. Thank you so much and take care of yourself.